Welcome back to Ticker News. Well, Amy B. Scher is an energy therapist and the author of various books, including How to Heal Yourself from Depression When No One Else Can. Amy now focuses on helping others achieve their writing goals by guiding them through the writing process. It's great to have her on Ticker News. Welcome in today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your background to begin with. Obviously a writer. Why this area for you of interest and writing?
So this area of writing for me was never planned, which is always funny because most writers know from the time they're little what they want to write about. But for me, I actually struggled with a very long-term illness called Lyme disease, which many people probably know about. And through my own healing journey, I discovered that our mind and body are so connected that we have to work with both. And I became very interested in the mind-body connection, which led me to study that area and actually heal completely from Lyme disease and many other conditions that came along with that. And so I ended up writing 3 different books on anxiety, depression, and chronic illness, and how people could use mind-body techniques simply and at home to help to support healing.
So before we talk about how you help other writers, how did you get involved? What was your process like becoming an author?
So my process, I think, was a little bit easy because I had no idea what I was doing right or wrong. I didn't have a college degree. I didn't study writing. And I think that actually really helped me. And I really just felt my way through it. I went with my gut. I wrote, I committed. And that's what it takes to write a book. It doesn't take a degree. It doesn't take experience. It just takes really sitting down to write. And that's why I've written all 4 of my books now, is the commitment and the perseverance, even when it seems impossible.
No doubt being an author is quite challenging at times. What are some of the difficulties that you've experienced and also the people that you're working with?
So I think, something that all writers experience is doubt when it's not working. Whenever we're creating something and it's not working perfectly, we think it's terrible. And every writer can attest, and probably every artist can attest to, one day we think our writing is brilliant and the next day we think it's the worst thing that anyone's ever created. And actually for me and for my students and clients, what we've come to realize is that that's part of the creation process. That sometimes we're going to think it's terrible, and that's going to cause us to look at it in another way and try to do another thing. And sometimes we're going to think it's fabulous, and those days are going to keep us going when the other days come in and tell us we should quit. So it's all part of the creative process, all the highs and lows as well.
So what sort of advice do you give to people that you're working with in terms of whether they need to start a book or how to finish a book? I mean, it seems like such a complicated process. I do not think I could ever do it myself, but what do you say to others?
Yes. So I tell people that you don't have to know what you're doing when you start. I don't sit down and write a whole book. I write it in snippets and pieces and messy pieces of paper and as part of a chapter here and then part of a chapter there. So what I tell people is just to start writing down what comes to you. It doesn't have to be in any order. You don't have to know how the book is going to end. I'm writing a fiction book now, a YA novel. I have no idea what the very end is going to be, but that's okay. It will come to me as I write. So I like to encourage people who want to write to delve into it, knowing that they're not going to know everything, and that's okay. So many people write books without knowing how to do it. You don't need to know, you just have to have the commitment that you're going to try. And every day you sit down to try, not knowing what's going to come out. But if you sit there long enough, you eventually create a book.
Yeah, no, it does make a lot of sense. It's like anything in life. You just need to try, and you keep going. If you try to force the answers, sometimes it doesn't always work. I really enjoyed the conversation, Amy. If someone wants to reach out to you and learn more, where can they head?
They can find me on my website, and I have free resources there at www.amybscher.com.
Thanks so much for being on Ticker News today.
Thanks so much.